Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. It's Peter here with Todd.
Hey everyone.
Happy Halloween. It is Halloween week and we're celebrating, as you can tell. We got a little spooky setup here. This is usually where we have more than one bottle of tequila especial, but we only have one bottle left.
Yeah, well, our contract with our sponsor was only 10 episodes, and this is our 11th, which is actually pretty impressive. I'm glad we made it this far.
Yeah.
But so I contacted them, and the good news is they refreshed our contract. Did we get money? No. Did we get more tequila? Absolutely.
Oh man, that is what I'm talking about.
Thank you to Tequila Especial. Everyone, go get a bottle today, tequilaespecial.com.
And I'm going to take a couple of these with me just for the trick-or-treaters, you know?
Yeah, for sure, Peter. Pass that out on Halloween. I think all the kids will like it.
Yeah, pass it out, yeah. And Todd, there was something on your heart that you wanted to say.
Yeah, Peter, I just want to speak to our audience directly. As you know, Peter and I have been working really hard on this podcast, putting it out an episode every Tuesday. You guys have been great, following us, liking us, reposting, and we really appreciate that. But it's not enough. We need more from you guys. We need you guys to tell a friend, tell a loved one, post a funny clip, get it out there because we need more. But the good news is if this podcast fails, Peter and I have chatted and we actually have some backup podcasts that we can try again.
Yeah, we've got a couple of good ideas, Todd. I think, what was it? It was...
Well, the first one is called Murphy's Law, hosted by Peter Murphy, where Peter will be a Judge Judy type person for all crime in Florida.
Yes.
So there's going to be plenty of content there. And then instead of funniest people you've never heard of, it's least funny people you have heard of. So we have Dane Cook as a guest, anyone who worked on Big Bang Theory. Any other ideas?
Sean Hemmelstein from my high school. Miss Guth. Yeah. And,
Is that one of your, who's Miss Guth?
Miss Guth, yeah. She thought she was real funny, trying to fail me in 4th grade.
Should we confirm she's alive before we make fun of her?
Yeah, she's got to be alive.
Well, we just lost one follower.
Enjoy our episode with Lisa Wallen. Today, we have a great chat about comedy, streaming, Twitch, and conventions. You're going to love it. Check out me, Todd, Lisa Wallen right now. By the way, can I borrow your Netflix password again? Hey, folks, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Funniest People You've Never Heard of. And is he right behind me? Yes, he is. Today, our guest, Stream Queen, the Weasel Allen herself, Lisa Wallen. Lisa, welcome to the program. And Todd's in the outfield. Todd, how's it going?
Going great. I'm excited about Halloween this week.
Yes, I'm excited about Halloween too. Lisa, are you excited about Halloween?
I am, because I turned 35 the day after.
The day after? November 1st?
I'm actually mad at my mom for that.
Yeah.
Because I was a planned C-section and she could have had me on Halloween. And she was like, oh, I didn't want to do that. I didn't think you wanted to have a Halloween birthday. I was like, you literally gave birth to an emo kid. Like
she gave birth to you. Yeah.
She gave birth to an emo kid.
Yeah.
She boofed out a spooky.
She boofed out a spooky. Ooh.
That's a scientific term.
That's a scientific term for when you give birth on Halloween. You boofed out a spooky.
He boofed out
a spooky.
I actually am going to say that for the rest of my life now.
Boofed out a spooky.
She's boofed out a spooky.
Well, you are spooky, and not just because you're an intimidating, awesome person who's incredibly funny.
You've hung out with me. I'm not that intimidating.
Yeah, I know, but there's a
until you got to get to know me is what it was. Like
I've never been intimidated by you, but since you did bring up the fact that we've hung out before and we've been friends, and we will continue.
And I ate your expired M&Ms in your kitchen.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you if you laugh at your own jokes, because I obviously laugh at my own jokes. And in regards to us, I brought this up last time I saw you. We went to go see a Kings game here in LA.
I already know what you're going to say.
And you were driving to my place, and I texted you. I was like, hey, are you seeing anybody? Like romantically. And before you could respond, I go, 'cause I am. And I just wanted to rub it in.
I love that I immediately knew what you were going to say. And I'm like, God damn it.
What was your thought process when you saw the first half
I
of
was
that
like,
text?
oh no.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh,
Not
no.
again.
Not
Do you just
another-
have in your notes like a friend zone copy and paste text that you...
It's I set a rule for myself just so I'm not swimming any dangerous waters. Is like nobody in the comedy scene.
Smart.
First it was the first year, now it's the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Listen, I haven't been here long enough to dip into the dangerous waters, but the minute I was driving there, I was like, God damn it! And then you said that, and I was like, oh, I'm even more pissed now for some reason. I'm more upset now that you rubbed that in my face.
Well, okay, you've been in Los Angeles for 2 years, but you're no stranger to comedy.
A year and 5 months.
A year and 5 months. Okay, well, let's round up. So you're no stranger to comedy, though, and you come from Washington. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I did want to ask you about whether you laugh at your own jokes, because a lot of what you do and a lot of the content that you put out is through stream, and it's kind of like you by yourself playing games. So, what goes into that, and what's the thought process in, just being kind of like raw, unfiltered, and, putting yourself on a live stream like that?
Well, I got so used to people not laughing back at my jokes when I'm streaming because I can't hear anyone. I'm sure they're all crying, laughing the whole time, but instead they just comment LOL.
That's nice.
And you know the difference between a lowercase LOL and a higher case one?
Oh.
Sometimes they'll just put a lowercase of like, oh, that's mean. That's mean, isn't it? That's a different energy. If you said something funny to someone, I just said LOL in all lowercase, you'd be like, oh shit, I pissed them off. Kind of like your message to me,
You know what I like to do? Yeah, exactly. You know what I like to do? I don't forget what you said. I was too busy laughing. But in response to that text, I was too busy laughing and getting my M&Ms ready for you. But you know what I'll say? I won't do LOL. I'll do like he and put a little smiley emoji
you're
with
a
the angel.
12-year-old girl on
with
MySpace.
the angel. Yeah, exactly. On MySpace.
Do you do RAR XD too?
Oh yeah, that's it. Me too.
No, but the streaming stuff, it's weird because the whole reason I started streaming is because I couldn't do comedy during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm already addicted to video games. I might as well try to do something with this. And now it's made me a better comedian because I have the same community and they watch me for like 20 hours a week.
Wow.
So they know so much about me. Obviously, there's things I don't talk about, but it gets to the point where people just ask me questions just to learn more about me.
Huh.
Like where they're like, what's your favorite Halloween memory? And then it's like, oh, that could be a bit.
Oh.
And I tell a lot
interesting.
of stories on stream because, yeah, I'm literally talking for 4 hours every night.
Yeah.
With just responding to people's messages. And I will say, I'm not trying to be cocky, but when I started streaming during the pandemic, I already had an audience from like my anime podcast and whatnot. So when I watch streamers that don't have audiences and I see them do what I do, I'm just like, God, you're so brave.
Oh, right.
I've had low view counts. Like I think when I started out, I had like 18 average viewers, which is pretty good.
Okay.
But they were very conversational.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It wasn't hard for me to like get into the whole like, okay, yeah, I'm just talking. It's basically using speech to text.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. That's kind of cool.
For 4 hours, for 1,000 hours a year.
And so, because that, Todd from the outfield.
Sorry to be this guy. Just you never explain. I just need you to explain like what streaming is. Like if
okay.
my mom is
You
listening.
don't know what streaming is?
Some people don't.
Not in
Oh,
this
really?
context. No.
Listen,
I think
okay.
some people
What
won't.
is streaming? This feels like when like Brian Gumbel was like, and the morning news was describing like the internet. You know
Sorry,
what I mean? Like,
I work in reality TV. We always make it simple for the dumbest person in
But
the
here's
audience.
the thing. You have a great point. So when I go on stage and I tell my stuff, my bits, my skits,
Jokes?
my jokes.
Depending. Sometimes it's just stuff.
Eventually, I need a new opener because I've been doing this for 2 years. But my opener is always my Twitch stuff because it shows who in the audience knows what streaming is and who doesn't.
We do know what Twitch is, right? Okay. So those who have sex, I will explain what Twitch is to you. But basically, what I do for a job is I get paid about $17 a month to have children bully me online because I want to play video games for them. That is a career I chose in my 30s. Because I told my therapist, you know what, I'm just not suicidal enough. I just really gotta...
Yeah, it is a generational thing because I started when I was 32 and so many Twitch streamers are like in their 20s and they're very young and like we're millennials. Like this is such a new concept to us. Like when I watched YouTube, 20 years ago, it was like Charlie the Unicorn.
Yeah,
and
or Unforgivable.
Yeah, Unforgivable. Yeah, it wasn't. We were watching specific people put out content and like getting excited for them.
So for Todd, what is the Webster's Dictionary definition of streaming? What would you say it is, Lisa?
How about I take a try at explaining it? You tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You play video games and people watch you play the video games and they're in a chat room chatting about it and you're making jokes or talking with them the whole time.
Me, essentially, so what I do is I play video games, but like Twitch and YouTube streamers, like they can do anything. Like I have friends that crochet on stream. I have friends that cook on stream. It's basically modernized public access TV.
Okay.
That's the best way to explain it.
That's right.
Except for there's a live chat going.
Yeah.
So like I've done like gunpla buildings, like I've done Lego builds because like I just want to switch things up. You can do anything on stream. I think people just associate with video games because that's very popular. But honestly, the most popular category on Twitch is just chatting, which is like podcasts and hanging out with people and talking because people they want to feel included. You know, like a live Q&A, like that's awesome. I can just hop into someone's stream and harass them, or I could try to be their friend.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that people forget about streaming is they associate it more with video games, which is fine.
Yeah.
I love video. I play mainly video games, but in general, it's just like, it's like content creating or comedy. Like you start doing comedy because you know you're fucking funny. You're like, I'm so funny. I need everyone to know that I'm funny. All right. Content creation, you're like, I'm really good at like just shilling to brands. So I'm just going to keep, but with streaming, you're like, you know what? I think I'm very personable and likable. And I think I can connect people. And so that's why you start streaming. Like you have to be, yeah. And that's why I started is like, oh yeah, like I know a lot about video games and anime and I'm very talkative and I don't have to listen to anyone else talk. So it's perfect for me.
You know, yeah, exactly. Could you kind of take us through what it is that makes a stream successful? Is it consistency and like, you know, what do people typically get?
I would say being consistent, which is something I struggle with because of comedy. I'm lucky that I'm having a community. Yeah. So this is my problem with a lot of comedians who want to stream is that they're like I'm not gonna name names.
Sure.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, I know. but I know who you're talking about.
But there's some big comedians that start streaming and they just don't know, oh, well, how do I build my audience? Blah, blah. Like, I'm like, you have to have a community. Yeah. Like your comedy audience is not going to go towards streaming. You have to learn how to talk to people like their community. It's like crowd work almost.
That is, yes, you're exactly right. That is the big question that every comedian and every content creator, every artist is asking right now. How do I mobilize my online fan base to come to live shows? How do I create my community and allow my community to come find me with streaming?
You also have to be passionate about it. Oh. Like, you know Morgan J?
Yes.
Great comedian. He started streaming recently and he's doing great. I mean, granted, he's already famous, but I watch his stream. It's like you can tell he loves doing it. He watches his chat. He addresses people in his community. Like, people don't come to streaming to watch a TV show. They want to feel part of a community.
Right.
And that was so big during the pandemic because no one could leave the house. Yeah. So I built friendships through streaming. Like, so many people make comments about how I have simps. Like, you just, all these simps. Blah, blah. I'm like, these are my friends.
Oh,
like when
sure.
when the reason why I like traveling for comedy is I meet people from my stream community and like we'll go out and like drink after and have a good time and no one's weird. And like even when I like go out with people from my community, I've seen their comments. I know how they are in my chat to know how they are in real life.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm very selective about people I'll hang out with and people I don't really talk to because there are the weirdos who are just like obsessed with everything I do and they'll come to my chat and they try to ask me dating questions. They'll try to ask me questions about like my sex life and it's like, hey, I'm playing Dark Souls. You think anything right? Nothing about this is sexy. I'm not going to talk about sex while I'm dying 5 hours to one boss. It really doesn't make sense to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, gaming culture and streaming culture is so broad now and you're so active in it. You go to, you know, TwitchCon and you'll go to like these different conventions around the country and around the world. And where are your boundaries on what you like and don't like in terms of the gamer culture? Like, do you dress up in cosplay or do you have a bunch of Funko Pops that you love to collect?
Shut the fuck up. For full disclosure, I'm terrified of Funko Pops.
Terrified.
I hate their eyes. They look into my soul. They're cheap. I don't like them.
You know, some of them have real brains in there.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
They have like plastic brains.
I hate
if you
them.
Cut them open.
They're staring into my soul, and I hate them, and they're cheap. And like one time, okay, let's just start with the fear of Funko Pops because we brought that up. It started because I was at my friend's house when I was on shrooms, and I passed on her couch, and I woke up in their living room, and they have Funko Pops all around their TV, and I swear to God, their eyes started going together, and it just terrified me. So that's my fear of Funko Pops.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
One time in Orlando, I slept with this married woman. Her husband was out of town, right?
Yeah.
And we slept in their guest bedroom.
Would be crazy if he was in town, but
that would be crazier. But when I woke up in the morning, there were 3 shelves on every side of this room with animated action figures, and they were all looking at me, judging me. Now, I wasn't on mushrooms, but that was pretty terrifying. And I was like, where am I?
That's probably how my bedroom looks like to most people, honestly.
Oh, really?
Because I have like 30-inch statues and shit too.
So you have action figures, but you don't like the Funko Pops.
Yeah, Funko Pops. Listen, we could talk about Funko Pops for hours and why I hate them. But in general, if I've become an adult in the sense where it's like the figurines I buy have to be high quality now.
Ooh,
yeah.
Like what?
Like I have an $800 statue.
Of what? Of who?
Of Virgil from Devil May Cry 5. He's about this tall.
Off the ground? That's like
yeah, he's about 30 inches tall. It's huge.
Whoa, where do you put that?
Next to my bed. On its own little nightstand, and he protects me. And then I have another like $600 Gintama one. If I had all the money in the world, I would just keep buying giant figures. Because why own 20 ugly Funko Pops for $10 or own like one fucking badass, like never made, like only made 250 copies of your favorite anime character or video game character, and it's like high quality.
Lisa Wallen, famous snob, action figure snob.
I am an action figure snob.
But okay, so you're not into the Funko Pops. Do you dress up and do the cosplay when you come to these conventions, or not really?
No, I have I've done silly cosplays for like meme purposes.
Oh my gosh, what was the one that you did? It was like a crossover Jesse thing.
Breaking Bad Jesse Pinkman, and then I was playing the game Pikmin 4, so I was Jesse Pinkman. So I was a Pikmin dressed up as a Breaking Bad character. It went viral, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I could have, unless you know Pikmin and Breaking Bad together, it makes no sense. And so people are like, I don't get why this is going viral. I'm like, because you're not incredibly online like I am.
Yeah, sometimes fandom or
it's like the Elden Ring clip that got like 3 million views of mine. It's
what they describe that?
I did a joke about Elden Ring and I posted on Instagram, and I honestly did not like how I delivered it. I was just like, this is just fun. It's a minute long. It was the first time I told it on stage, and it got 3 million views. Oh. And I got on Kind of Funny podcast, which was a huge gaming podcast. I got all these views. I'm like, that shit blew up.
Just a few months ago, I was talking to this guy for a bit, and he's never played the game before. And I was like, you should play Elden Ring. It's really good. And he's like, okay, I'll download it. And he did, and I never heard from him again. This game is a curse. But we're still friends on PS5, so I can see him playing the game and not texting me back. I feel like I was watching myself getting cheated on. And then he didn't talk to me for 2 months, and then he like blew me up with this huge message about how he was so busy and went through a lot of shit. I went to look at his PS5, that motherfucker platinumed the game, okay?
To answer your question earlier, though, I am not into the cosplay stuff. The gaming culture, listen, I worked in esports for 2.5 years, which is much different than gaming culture. Because like esports specifically is like competitive gaming. There's a personality with it. Like when you go to an esports party, you're like, someone's going to get roofied here. Like that's the kind of vibe that esports gave me. Oh, really? Yeah, because it's just like those guys that played Call of Duty and like all the first person shooters. Like esports is their brand. And I've had some concerning interactions at esports events and esports, with people in the scene. And I shouldn't say that about everyone. Sure. Because I had an amazing job. I loved everyone I worked with. But when you go to other type of gaming things, like you go to a Magic the Gathering thing, you're not going to see anyone roofie anyone. They're too busy playing Magic.
There's, I guess, yeah, exactly. I guess what you're saying, they're coming up with other types of potions. Yeah, right. I guess what you're saying is that, streaming and esports are so broad now that there's a a fringe for everybody. You know, there's those like jock bro gamers, then they have like the esports.
And they're and
stuff.
like it's the same thing with like comedians.
Sure.
Yeah, like it's like there's so many different types of comedians, and like moving here in LA and seeing just how broad the comedian spectrum is here in LA versus Seattle. It's the same thing with, you go to TwitchCon and it's like, TwitchCon is just me hanging out with women shorter than me. That's all it is. It's 90%. Every girl who plays video games is 5'1". That's what I just realized. I didn't know how tall I was until TwitchCon. And then it's like some of the after parties just like, loud music and like it just feels very frat boy. And then you go to some other parties and they're a lot more like classier. And like they give you hors d'oeuvres and like wine. And
so we discussed obviously what you don't like, but what do you like? What do you embrace in regards to
I love how much you use your hands.
Oh, thank you.
You're very handsy.
Thank you.
I love it.
I've been told that. But I want to go back to you being on Pretty Funny, right? Or
Kind of Funny.
Kind of Funny, sorry. Did you meet a guy named Snowbike Mike?
He was the one guy I didn't meet, and now we're friends online. I replaced him for the day and played Dark Souls 1 with Andy.
I don't like that guy.
You're like, I don't like that guy.
I don't like you, Snowbike Mike. Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
Because he's my cousin.
Is he really?
He is.
Is he watching this?
No.
Right now?
No.
Is he here in the room?
And when he comes to LA, he doesn't even hit me up.
That's hilarious.
What an ass.
I didn't meet him, and I'll tell him that, hey, I didn't know you're friends with, or you're cousins with Jimmy Fallon. That's cool.
What a jerk. Next time you talk to him, be like, yeah, Peter says hi. I'm calling him out. Mike Howard, Snowbike Mike, if you're watching this, come on the show, you coward, if you dare.
Yeah, and we'll arm wrestle.
And we'll arm wrestle. We'll arm wrestle. We'll real wrestle. I'll put you through a table, pal. And so, because that Todd from the outfield.
Did you first consider yourself a gamer before a comedian? Like if you had to choose an identity?
Ooh, I've never been asked that. I think I'm a gamer comedian. I think
you're both now, but what did you enjoy first? Was it gaming?
Well, I've been gaming since I was a kid. I didn't start stand-up till 2014. Mm-hmm. But I didn't start writing jokes about video games until about 2017. Because I always kind of hid my gamer side because of all the harassment I got from dudes that I never really talked about my gaming interests. And then when I started being more online about it and like reviewing things, I was like, oh wait, like people aren't harassing me about games. And I started writing jokes about them. And now look at me. I have no money. Isn't that great? Look at me. No money, always dying in games, haven't slept. It's great.
What is it about a
misogyny?
Yeah. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. What is it about like the toxic competitiveness that comes to these arenas that you embrace and you love so much? Gaming, streaming, comedy, as you're talking about, like
men just hate when they see women doing things that they do. That's literally it. It's not traditional for women to be funny on stage in their heads. It's not traditional for us to play video games, which is hilarious. Can I bring up a tweet?
Yeah. Yes, Lisa, go right ahead. Yes, calling on you.
This is an anime thing. Have you ever heard of the term Fujoshis?
No, I haven't.
So Fujoshis.
Wait, Todd, have you heard of the term?
Of course I know that one.
So
go ahead.
Actually,
I ordered that on my pizza.
Shut the fuck up. So the reason I bring this up is because it's something a lot of people don't think about. So there's a lot of misogyny in the anime community as well. Like men always being like, oh, she just likes anime because it's mainstream, blah, blah, blah. Fujoshi is a term of women who basically in the 1980s and 90s were the ones that brought anime to the US. The whole reason why anime survives in the US is because of female fans. And Fujoshis basically ship 2 male characters from every series. And this is how you know you have a successful cartoon, anime story, whatever, is if women can make 2 of the men gay in their head. Literally.
And then create like a fan
That's
fiction?
why Supernatural got really, really big, is because women were shipping the 2 male characters in it.
Wow.
And this works across all mediums.
Time out, Todd. Shipping means like coupling them together and
That one I
pairing
knew.
them up.
That
Okay.
one I knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
He works in TV. He gets it, you
I
know?
don't know. Okay, sorry. Todd's mom.
Yeah.
Shipping means,
She's turned this episode off.
Yeah,
Relationshipping.
Relationshipping, yes.
So the irony is this guy was like, I hate that the Fujoshis found this specific series. They're going to ruin it for us, which is hilarious. I'm like, the whole reason why your series survives in the US is because of female fans. We're the ones who buy all the products. We're the ones who buy the physical copies. We're the ones who go to the collab cafes. We're the ones who make all the artwork. We're the ones who do the fan fiction. I think a lot of dudes in fandoms, whether it's gaming, like maybe not as much comedy, they don't realize how much the reason why these things survive is because of female support.
They must think of like women as like kind of like a prop rather than a contributor.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell when my clips are way out of the target audience is because I get body shamed all the time now, which I'm like, okay.
Wow, yes.
My favorite one I get is her shoulders are very wide and broad. I'm like, yeah, I'm 5'10". I work out a lot. Of course, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
You know, I've had so many things about how I'm built like a fridge, which I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
You got a cold heart.
Most of these guys, their closest relationship is with their refrigerator.
Right,
probably.
exactly.
Oh, yeah, so maybe that's a compliment.
Yeah, right.
Or they're always, because I think it's because they realize like, oh no, a women comedian, oh, can't watch this. Oh, women aren't funny. It's like, come up with something original. And so the original is you're built like a fridge. That's the thing, is that they can't, and they only happens when the clips go viral.
Right.
Like if my clip had like 100 views, I get no misogyny, but because they see somebody succeeding, a woman succeeding in a field that they think that they can do better, it's fascinating. I used to let these things get to me, you know, but after going through like literal trauma and having the internet like basically come at me, males, that's what we call them now, dudes, 4chaners, Redditors, all those, they do it because they're miserable. They just don't want to see a woman like, oh, well, the fact that I play Dark Souls makes me unique. I can't have this hot woman doing it.
Sure.
It's really that.
There's a time right now in Los Angeles, 2024, where it feels like
a big earthquake's going to come.
The big one's coming.
Yeah.
Last time we did a podcast, an earthquake happened. Do you remember that?
I know. That's why.
I was like, holy moly.
In the middle of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were right in the middle of it, and your cat was like woke up in the background.
It's like I came from a place where drive-through coffee was like a normal thing, and now I have to like get out of my car and see people, and I hate it.
Yes.
Are we having an earthquake right now?
Holy shit, yes. Oh my God. Dude,
just for this podcast. Dude, that's how dope this recording
calling me. What's happening right now?
It woke up my cat.
All right, we're okay, right? Yeah.
The thing that I want to ask you about is like all female comedy tonight. Do you as a female comedian want an all female comedy show advertised like that? Or is that too much pressure to put on those comedians? And if you're going to emphasize and elevate female voices, just book more female comedians on a regular show.
Yeah. I also think, I mean, there's two things. It's like, yeah, so you're kind of just like, it feels like I'm a diversity hire sometimes, but also I think a lot of people look at that too negative. Like having an all female comedy show, they're like, oh yeah, let's women power and comedy. Well, sometimes women want to go see women do comedy. And if they see like, oh, there's an all women's comedy show and they don't see who's on the flyer, they just see the name, they'll just go to the show. I think a lot of people forget about that. I used to book an all-female comedy show in Seattle called Lady Bits, which is a great name. I gave it to my friend Courtney, who now lives here, so I don't know who runs anymore. If it sucks now, it's not my fault, but it didn't when I did it. And people would just be like, oh, I'm so happy like to find a comedy show where it's like all women. Like some people just, and a lot of people forget that, and men get mad. Like, oh, well, women aren't funny. It's like, well, you didn't know, you didn't go to the show. So
Should have gone to the show.
You're too busy Cheeto fingering your keyboard and getting mad at women online.
Tell us your earliest and most exciting Halloween memory.
Because I was born November 1st, all my birthday parties as a kid were Halloween themed.
Fun.
And my mom, bless her heart, would always set up our kitchen. I had like one of those long kitchens, and she would put like spaghetti noodles in like one bowl, and then she'd put like like olives in another bowl, and she'd blindfold the kids and make them put their hands in it and be like, this was the witch's eyes. And that was probably my favorite early, but also I've just always done really stupid Halloween costumes. This year I might be OBGYN Kenobi.
Ew.
I have.
Yeah.
What the hell? What does that look like?
What's that going to look like?
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Of gloves. Okay, yeah.
All these I've come up with dumb people on Twitch having silly names in my chat and then being like, oh, I got to make a Halloween costume out of that, you know? Or like coming up with puns in my chat. Like so many of my ideas for costumes have become like memes on my stream. Yeah.
Well, how can people find you online and then celebrate your birthday or see you in person at a comedy show?
Celebrate my birthday by Venmoing me at Lisa-Wallen.
That's right.
I'm online everywhere.
Okay.
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn.
Just search Lisa Wallen.
At WISALALLEN, because God forbid I use my real name. It's Lisa Wallen or Lisa Wallen. Just fucking, you'll find me.
This is the end of the show where you refer a comedian to us. Who do you think we should feature on the show? A comedian, an artist, a creator, somebody like that.
Well, one of my favorite comedians that I've worked with and met since I've moved here is Noah Comfer.
Oh, yeah. I like him.
He's wonderful.
Very good.
And of course, Holly Brown, because she works so hard and she's so funny. And she looks like me, but hotter and married. So how dare she?
Dang.
So there's two of you. There's two of them.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to this podcast. Holy cow. And watching it. This is Funniest People You've Never Heard of. Lisa, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Now everyone's heard of us.
Happy Halloween.
Yay.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Woo. Boofed out of spooky.
Boofed out of spook.
Funniest People You've Never Heard of is a production of Toby or Not Toby Productions. Executive producer, Todd Fields. Producer and host, Peter Murphy. Studio space provided by Third Wheel. Theme song written and performed by Justin Fields. Brought to you by Tequila Especial. Don't forget to like and subscribe.